we're back now, and we want to talk about now some of the other tools that we like to use, or at least I like to use, when it comes to making film scoring, and particularly making an action movie trailer or scene or sound or whatever you want to call it. One of the main tools I use, and this is a go-to tool pretty much in almost everything I do, is Omnisphere. Omnisphere, I don't like to use the term best, because what's best is a matter of taste. You know, some people like Reactor, some people like E2 from Logic, some people like some of the other tools that come with, you know, different types of synthesizers and that sort of thing. But as far as the deepest synth you're gonna get is Omnisphere. The sounds are just ridiculous. Now, with Omnisphere, you're gonna have about, I think it's something like 8,000 sounds, plus you can tweak them, plus you can combine them. It will literally take you 10 or 15 years to use this thing to its full capacity. I mean, that's how deep it really is. Okay, you're never going to get bored. You're never going to run out of anything. But one of the best things about Omnisphere that I like is its choir sounds. Some of the most realistic and best choir sounds you're ever going to find. And when you're adding these choir sounds to your action track, it can really give it a nice bang to it, or you know, it can really spice it up a little bit. You know, when you have the track going. You can, you know, you can. Again, you get the joke. We're just playing around with it right now just to get you to understand. Now, there are a ton of voices on here, of human voices on here, choir sounds and that sort of thing, that you can use for Omnisphere. Right now, for this particular track, we're probably just going to use it to get a decent choir sound out of here, you know, as far as the recording goes. But some other tools we want to talk about here, and this one we're probably not going to use everything that we talk about in this particular track, but these are just some of the tools that we use when we're talking about making our action or film scores. Another go-to tool that I use a lot of, like I said before, may not necessarily use it with this one, but Evolve. Evolve is another one of those tools that's definitely a go-to tool. You're not gonna. It's very focused. In other words, it's designed specifically for film and TV scoring, right? And you have 4 categories here. You have it's 5 categories. You have your rhythmic suites, your percussion suites, stings, transitions, tonality, and loop. Loops and expanded content. One of the things I like about Evolve is that you can actually get percussion sounds out of here also, be it single hits or loops. So you can get some pretty good. So you can get some pretty good percussion sounds out of Evolve. You can also get some pretty decent tonal sounds. You know, good loop tonals, also good individual sounds. Like I said, we're probably not going to use probably not going to use it in this particular track, but this is definitely something anyone who is composing for film and screen, you want to have Evolve and you want to have Omnisphere in your stable because they are going to be go-to tools for you down the line. I mean, you're never going to get bored using them. They are totally versatile, great tools you want to have. Okay, now the last tool that, and again, I use more tools than this, but these are my main tools. Now, a lot of you wondering about those build-ups. When you hear a lot of action tracks, you're going to hear those build-ups and that sort of crescendo type of sound. A brand new tool is out. It used to take a lot of work to get those, right? Well, Native Instruments has come out with a brand new tool to help us out with that. It's called Rise and Hits. Rise and Hits is what gives us that build-up sound. Like, sorry, that's the Native Instruments track. Sorry about that. That's the Evolve track. Now this instrument, and this is all this instrument does, right? We can edit these sounds. We can, it comes generally with 4 layers, and we can edit them. We can make some louder. We can make some smaller. We can, there's a lot we can do, and we will be doing a complete review of the instrument itself. Right now, we just want to talk about what it does in the context of a track, particularly an action track. When you get to that point, or at the beginning of the track, when you're doing a certain build-up, you want to. That's the one part is the hits. The other part is the rise. So right, it rises up to the hits, and then you jump right into that track, right? And so this is one of those things. This is one of those tools that, again, it's going to be indispensable as we go on our way to try to get quality action tracks. Remember, we're not just trying to make tracks. The reason we're using the tools that we're using, the tools that I'm talking about, because these are very high quality tools. It's going to get you the high quality sounds. It's going to get you noticed by individuals, by music supervisors and other individuals who want high quality action tracks or action trailers for their movies or for their video games or whatever they're going to be using it for, right? And quality is going to command you a lot more money and a lot more placements. So these are some of the tools that we want to use. So let's go ahead and play around with the choirs a little bit and try to see if we can lay something down with a choir track over the track that we already have going on. Okay, that sounds good. Let's go ahead and see if we can record that. Okay, as usual, we're gonna make sure we scale down the track a little bit, make sure it matches everything. And we're gonna quantize the 16th. Now, one of the things I do, and I know some people do things differently, and that's fine. I try to keep all of my tracks in 4 bars. All of my regions in 4 bars. And in 4-bar regions. And so when I arrange it, it makes it so much easier to edit and manage when I do that. If you notice, everything I've done right now is in 4-bar regions. And some people do things differently. Some people might have a track that's like several regions. Some people might have, so there's really no set rules to that. This is just my rule. And the reason I do it like that, and again, because it just makes it so much easier, okay, when we're talking about, when we're talking about editing the track, right, it just makes it so much easier to do that when you keep everything simple, keep everything in 4-bar phrases. Now sometimes, okay, when you're trying to spice up the full track up a little bit, you might have to get away from that just a little bit. But as a rule, I try to keep everything at 4 bars, right? And I make at sometimes 8 bars, but usually at about 4 bars, because it makes the arrangement and editing so much more simple. Okay, so this is one of the things that we try to do with that. Now that we have our choir sound, we have our staccato, we have our strings going on, and we have our percussion track, we're gonna add some. We're gonna add a little spice to it. In our next track, in our next video, we're gonna add a little spice to it. We're gonna add maybe a rise scene, you know, to it, and then we're gonna arrange it and track it out. And then we're gonna have a full track, and then we'll go from there. All right. Thanks, everybody.